exactly.
So you only watched the main card from last week. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that right? What did you think of that? Should we get straight into it? This is just, by the way, super chatty. No
Okay.
structure. It's nice and easy.
Yeah, that's kind of how we do ours. It's just like I personally come with notes usually, but like it's just like, you watch it. What did you think of it?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I
Best way to
thought
do it, isn't it? Get honest
yeah,
opinions.
I thought it was a pretty good card. I didn't have like super high expectations going into it, to be honest. Um, and there was a lot of seems like early stoppages that didn't really go the distance. So you got a little bit of everything. You got some nice TKO action in there.
Mm.
You had the huge Shayna Dobson,
Mate, that
huge
upset.
underdog. So that's always fun to see. And then I mean the main event was pretty sweet.
I saw someone on Twitter who put 50 quid in English on Shana Dobson. And in the UK, betting is a lot different to your betting. I don't actually understand all the minus stuff that much. Because over here, you just get like 10 to 1 odds. So you put £1 on, you get £10 back kind of thing.
Okay, so yeah,
Sterling.
with
I don't,
with
they got
go
something.
ahead.
Oh, so I was going to say, so with the minus 1500, is that like you put $1 on, you get $15 back, or is it $150, or is it $1,500, or
So minus 1,500
yeah?
means you have to put down $1,500 to win 100.
Oh, I see.
So I think that would be like a 15 to 1
Okay, okay,
like
makes sense.
odds. Yeah, and then so if Shayna Dobson's plus 800,
Eight to
you
one.
put down 100 and you can win 800. So
Nice,
it would pay you back 8 to 1.
nice. Oh, that makes sense. A bit
Yeah,
better than
yeah.
our
It
odds.
takes a little while, but
Yeah,
it's you see the minus and it's in quadruple digits, you know something's going on.
yeah. Because then you get stuff like is it pick 'em fights? Is that just even
Yeah.
odds? Because here
Yeah,
it's called evens. So it's
yeah,
just
same exact thing. It's just like whoever it's a coin toss. When it was DC and Stipe, that was a pick 'em for like
yeah.
the longest time. So those are always the fun ones, because you're not betting crazy. You're just like, yeah, I'll just take this guy because I think he'll win.
There was a is it Bet365 in the UK had the betting app had eye pokes as a bet. How
Oh,
many eye
really?
pokes in a fight? And my mate put 2 on in the fight, and he won £1,500.
Really?
Yeah, from like 20 quid. He said there'd be 2 eye pokes. It's quite a weird bet, but he won loads of money.
Well, when DC fights, right? That was like the thing everyone was talking about. Was like, oh, I was like, how is DC gonna win? And they were like, oh, he's just gonna eye poke him the whole time. It's like,
And then when he
that's
did
not
it, it was
fair.
like, oh,
Yeah, early on, and then he gets eye poked, and it wasn't. He didn't even get caught. So
yeah. Mark apologized for that. That was good. Went
yeah,
on
at
Twitter and
least
said
that.
sorry. Yeah, he's the best ref in my opinion. So
Oh, yeah.
English, gotta say it.
No, no, it's just the refs and the judges, especially so this week with the judges between in the main event. I mean,
Do
I didn't.
you? So yeah, do you want to start with that then? Do you want to start with Pedro and Frankie, just as a quick recap?
Yeah, we could do that just because it was. I mean, it's always a little controversial.
Do you had it the same as me, 3-2 for Pedro?
Yep, I
Is that
had
right?
round 1, 3, and 4. I think it was. I gave to
Yes.
Pedro,
Yeah.
right?
So 3 is the one that people were debating
Yeah,
based on volume instead of damage. But I looked at, I've watched the fight twice now, and I watched it from the first time I just watched the fight. The second
right.
time I watched it from the perspective of Frankie Edgar, and I gave Frankie 3 rounds. So I don't think it's a robbery at all. It
Yeah,
just depends whose perspective you looked at it from, because it was just so much. His output was just crazy. It was every one punch was 4 for him, but he ate. It was like 35 leg kicks.
right.
His there's an X-ray of his knee and it's dented. It's proper gone. So
Really.
yeah,
See, I feel like that plays a factor in it too, because when you do leg
yeah,
kicks, usually there's not like a ton of visible damage. Sometimes you can see like the swelling or it turns red.
yeah,
But,
yeah,
Frankie hitting Pedro, I mean, he was all cut up. He's bleeding. So, like, when you're watching it and you're looking at it, you see that. So you feel like Frankie's winning.
yeah, yeah,
And I don't
absolutely.
think you should include that in your judging, but some people do. It just looks visibly like Frankie won that.
Yeah, Pedro said that it was because of Frankie's name the judges were swayed. I don't think it's quite that, but I can understand where he's just so annoyed. But
Yeah.
he has to know that it isn't a robbery. It is. it's how the judges saw it, I guess. It was
Yeah, it's when you look at the numbers too, like you said, I think from a volume perspective, Frankie was winning for a while, and when you're watching it, he did a really good job of just kind of like dancing around, moving around. He was slipping punches. Pedro never really hit him like that good. A few times maybe, but
yeah.
he was moving and didn't really get caught with anything too big, and then he would just return good counter strikes, or he'd come up with like a big flurry. So I mean, just him in general at 135, I thought he looked great.
He did look
I
good,
thought he
didn't
looked
he?
great.
Yeah, he looks better than he does at 145. At least he had the bigger
Yeah,
reach for the first time in his career.
it's so weird. Yeah,
It's
so he's
so
like
weird.
5'6", and then this is the first time you're like, okay, even still, he's kind of undersized when you look at some of the other fighters. He's still not like a giant, but he's fought in 3 different weight classes. Like his
Yeah, I
his
mean,
skill set.
lightweight. You
Yeah,
imagine him in lightweight now against Khabib.
no, he'd get tossed. Like, it'd be
It's
terrible.
ridiculous. Against McGregor, like at that size, against Gaethje, against Ferguson, they're just
Yeah,
massive people. Paul Felder walks around at 198 pounds.
right. Perfect example. Like, and he's literally
Mike
he's five
Perry.
six, and he looks like 135. Like, he looked good. Like, he looked like a 135 fighter.
Yeah, I think. I don't think he can win a title. If I'm being honest, I don't think he could. The two top
Yeah.
guys, the best person in that division for me is Sterling. He
Yep.
just hasn't had the chance yet.
Yep.
Because he did get cracked by Moraes with that knee,
Yeah.
and he got dropped. That's the only loss I can think of for a long time on his
Yeah.
record. So he's
That's.
going to get against Petr Yan now, and that's going to be very
Do you
interesting.
do you think Piotr Jan is the like the real
I think he's the
number
real
one
deal.
guy? Yeah.
Me and my other co-host Lloyd, we always have this discussion. He does not rate Petr Yan at all,
Yeah.
and I get annoyed at it because he says, "Who is he beating?" And he's a 2014 onwards MMA fan, so McGregor era. So he's not
Okay.
seen Aldo WEC days like I.
Yep.
So I'm an Aldo fan, and I said he just beat Aldo up like convincingly.
Yep.
And he said, but Aldo's past it. And I'm like, he's 30 years old. He's not past it. It's just because he's had so many years in the sport. He started when he was 17, 18. So it's just been for so long. But he doesn't rate him. I rate him highly just because he knocked out an old man, Faber. But
Right.
that's all he could do. If he didn't knock him out, then I would be like, But the fact that he stopped Faber, he stopped Aldo, that to me is like, okay, he's no joke. He's still only like 11 or
Yeah.
12 fights in his career. And he's undefeated, which is perfect. So I
Yeah.
think Sterling's going to have him. I do.
It sounds like it. I think Dana
But
White the other night, didn't he say he admitted it? He was like, Aljo's the next guy up. I think
yeah,
he
he's been
said that.
really passive in saying he's the
I
next,
know
but he
it's so.
finally
Isn't it the
said it.
weirdest thing that he just like won't come out and say it? Like
Yeah, it's
he
like he
just
doesn't like him.
beats Corey Sandhagen, and it's like,
Oh,
I mean, they could give it to Moraes again, maybe, but like he just fought. Like it doesn't make any sense. Just give it to Aljo. He's clearly the next guy up.
yeah, and he's been begging for it. Plus, also, what would you do when Sarah Longo come into the octagon with the
Oh,
belt?
dude, I do you
Not
ever
since
listen
Weidman.
to like the Anakin Florian podcast or
I love it. Yeah,
yeah, I always listen to that. So Kenny Longo's always on, or yeah,
Ray Longo. Yeah,
um, Ray Longo's always on, and he's hilarious. And then I sometimes listen to UFC Unfiltered. Is it?
yeah, with
Which is
Matt Serra
Sarah.
and Jim Norton.
Yep. So
I
I
love
listen to those
Bustad.
guys
Yep,
a lot, but they have some like killers. Like when Marab just fought too, and you're just like
yep.
everyone who they have on their roster seemingly just keeps winning.
Other than Weidman. Well, actually,
Yeah.
that's not true. He did just win.
Well, he won, but it was not anything impressive, and I don't know what he's doing
It's a
next.
big snooze fest. It's
Yeah.
the only. I think it was the first fight in years that I picked my phone up while it was on.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, it was
oh,
so
it's just
bad.
so
The
bad.
second round, the cardio just like gave way, and then it was just like takedowns, and they were just like laying on top of each other, no ground and pound. There was
Nothing.
maybe one submission attempt. It was awful.
Yeah, I hated it, and I don't like Chris Weidman anymore. Basically,
I know. I
I
feel
fell out
bad.
of
It's
love with him.
just
I'm an
with all
Anderson
the
person,
yeah,
so he broke my heart.
yeah. It's hard. Yeah, that's
I
also
haven't
true.
forgiven him for what, 6 years ago.
I know.
Whatever it
When you
was.
look at all these guys who are now like turning past like say 33, 34, and they're clearly past their prime.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do with those fighters? And then it's just hard to like convince them to be like, hey, I don't think you really have it anymore. But you have to keep him in.
Yeah.
They're on contract and whatnot, but like he doesn't have a chance. You
Yeah,
know?
they just know that though, don't they? Secretly, the matchmakers was Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby. They know they're
Yeah.
never going to match Weidman and whoever again. You know, see what he went when he went against Dominic Reyes. He thought, "Oh, I like heavyweight." One
Yeah.
punch later, which wasn't even a good punch. He just
I know. I was at that fight. That was in
was you? Oh
Boston. That was
wow!
in Boston. Yeah, that was.
Oh,
I actually watched that recently. So for like 2 minutes, Weidman he scored a takedown, had him
yeah,
against the fence. He was doing really good, and then like you said, he just got hit with like one soft punch, and he just like collapsed.
yeah.
So sad.
Oh man, I still today have never been to a UFC event.
Ah, it's
After
it's it's
after
it's awesome.
watching it, try and get a ticket in Europe.
I know.
So yeah, they get hyperinflated. So you buy a ticket for 60, £70, and then a minute later they're up 500
Oh
in
really?
England. Yeah, £500. So I don't know what that is. $700
Yeah.
and that's the nosebleeds. So you're just watching a TV anyway. So it's like, oh. So
Yeah. Why
one
you
day
watch it at home? Yeah. Yeah.
I was
One
meant to go
day.
to UFC London, but COVID happened. That was in March. So that was going to be it was going to be
Edwards.
Till Hermanson main event
Oh.
and Leon
Oh,
Edwards,
that's a good
Tyron
fight.
Woodley. So that
Wow.
was what it was going to be, but
That would have
COVID
been
happened.
electric too. That would
Oh,
have been
yeah.
fantastic. But
Oh man. Yeah.
especially
So
now
I
with COVID, who knows if it's even gonna when fans are gonna be allowed back in?
exactly the best bet for people in the UK to get a fight because you can't get to Dublin. No way.
Yeah.
You're getting there. Scotland's only ever had one UFC. UK's had quite a few, but uh, good luck. So you might as well fly to Poland, which is a 2 hour flight. You know, you can go to Holland, all these sort of countries. Go to
Yeah.
Sweden, go to Stockholm for it. They're 2 hours away from the UK, so and they're really cheap flights. They're like £30 returns. They're so cheap. Um,
Really.
yeah, so $50. It's pretty actually. To be fair, pound's never been lower. It's probably $30 as well. It's probably even now.
So that's not a problem at all. You just jump on, you're good.
Yeah, exactly. So their tickets are probably a bit better. But yeah, so we got Pedro winning, but sadly, no bueno, as it were. Who else
Yeah.
stuck out in that fight? You didn't see the prelims, but there was the first fight on the prelims. Was a man
Oh, I heard
Valiev.
about it. I heard
He
about it because it was an underdog,
debut
right?
spinning shit, you name
Yep.
it, wall climbing, doing Showtime kicks, you name it, absolutely destroying. I've forgot the man's name because it was just such a. I've never seen these fighters before, which is this is
Right.
why I love this card. A lot of people moaned that there's nobody on this card, but I like it because this is the next McGregor, this is the next Israel, this is the next whoever.
Right.
So I like picking out the nobodies almost because I haven't heard a lot. A lot of them are from LFA and American, like the tier under obviously
Yeah.
UFC.
Yep.
I go to the British ones, so I know all these fighters like Nathaniel Woods, the Jack Mansons,
Yep.
the Conor McGregor's when he came up. We knew all him from Cage Warriors, but not so
Oh,
much
right.
the LFAs. So you know, like Joanna and Jacek, who was the female Cage Warriors. You got
Yep.
Molly McCann. You got I can name them all. Darren Stewart the other day. You know,
Oh
so
yeah. Yeah, that's right.
you know, the dentist fought
The
Maki Patolo.
dentist.
Yeah, he trains used to where I used to live. So he's
Oh, nice.
such a nice guy. But yeah, there's all these fighters, but I didn't know these two. And in the second round, he just got clipped once, and that's it, once, and he just shut his lights out. And then he got ground pounded, and that was it.
Really?
And it was just the turnarounds in this card. In the was it Dwight Grant? Dwight Grant.
Yes. Yes.
That fight. I forgot his Rodriguez. There's two Rodriguez on this card. There was Mike,
Oh,
and there
Mike
was
Rodriguez, but then there was Daniel Rodriguez.
Daniel. That's it. Yeah. So he survived that onslaught from was it 2 days notice or 3 days notice?
Yeah. Yeah. It was super short notice.
Yeah,
That was
incredible.
Daniel Rodriguez is he's a good fighter. He was on
1986 on his chest.
I know. He was on
What?
Dana White Contender Series, right?
Was yes.
Yeah, so he's a
Yeah.
super good striker. And he's got like a ton of I think he's got a bunch of submissions on his record too. So he's very
Yeah.
well rounded, but
And 3 wins this
Um,
year, 2020.
yeah, that's right.
Yep.
A lot of these guys are just if they were in it early, they just kind of stuck with it. Some of these guys are in like 2, 3, 4 fights.
Yeah.
But no, I thought he just fought really well. It's always tough when your opponent drops out last minute because you're prepping for that one guy, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Never mind, you got to prep for this new guy who's a completely different style." And then you just, at that point, you just kind of go off of instincts. But I thought he fought really well,
No,
staying in there.
yeah, I mean, yeah. To be fair, it was a lot of just hammer fists against the guard. It wasn't picking
Yeah,
his shots, which is, I think, just the panic of, oh, I caught him. Just a
yeah,
surprise. Oh, he went down. That was easy. So, yeah, as you say, Mike Rodriguez as well, slow mo, that clinch work, his beautiful elbows as well.
that was an interesting fight. So he
It's scary.
fights out of Boston also.
Oh, okay, brilliant.
If you know Joe Lozon,
Of
he
course.
fights. Yeah, of course. So he fights with Lozon MMA, which is like pretty close to Boston, probably like 15 minutes away.
Oh, wow.
But he had like what, like an 83-inch reach or something. Like he had a
Mm-hmm.
monster reach. So to me, I was like, oh, that's simple game plan. You just keep your distance. But no, he was like right in the clinch. And when he got in there, man, that elbow that he landed, that was devastating. And I think he caught him with one more, and then he dropped to the ground and he threw like two huge punches those are always the ones that aren't really super necessary. I got my George Masvidal shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that was brutal, man. But he looked good.
Yeah, so it's scary when he gets a one-handed plum almost.
Yeah.
Just the strength in his grip, just for the back of the head. And as soon as he grabbed the guy, I've never ever gone, oh crap, to a clinch.
Yeah.
Like, he's got him. That's it. It's done. And that guy's scary. And yeah, I think you're right. He's got the third longest reach in UFC. It's him, then it's Jones, then it's Stefan Struve.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Pretty sure. Jones is an 84, I think, and Stefan's like 87 or something. Skyscrapers, too big. So,
Yeah, man. He's a scary fighter. But the other guy, was it Prachnio?
yes.
He's on a 3-fight losing streak. He could easily get cut.
I said in the last one, I reckon he will. He loses, he's out. Because what's the point?
Yeah, for both of those guys, they were both on a cold streak, so it was really whoever loses might get cut. So
that's why I'm surprised it was on the main card, but it wasn't. I think it was only on the main for Mike, just because heavyweights, big boys, that kind of.
Yeah, people want to see that. It's the light heavyweight, and light heavyweight right now is kind of a toss up in a way. So maybe big or slow Mike can, I don't know, make a little run at it. He's a little older. I think he's like 32, 33. So. Again, it's like another one of those guys you don't know. Does he have
a heavyweight? So yeah, all older boys at heavyweight though, isn't it? So
yeah,
might be all right. Now, on the back end of this card, which is Smith versus Rakic, I have previewed this fight 4 times, I think, in the last 2 months. Which is Magomed Ankalaev versus Ian Cutelaba.
Yes, I know. It's like I'm dying for it to happen.
Because the first one, Kevin McDonald got punked by the possum, and he was like, "Oh, he's not hurt." It was good. It was good role playing, but not the best. And I really rate Ankalaev.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big Paul Craig fan, as I've got to support all the United Kingdom fellas. Right? He's Scottish, the Bear Jew himself. He's an ex-school teacher. Proper. Here Comes the Boom. He's like that kind of role play.
Yeah, his jiu-jitsu game is unbelievable.
It's people are sleeping on him, but if he just can find a way to master wrestling instead, or pulling guard, but not leaving himself vulnerable like he did against who's the fellow that was meant to fight co-main against Ovins, Manyfield.
Yeah.
Manyfield caught him as he tried to pull guard, knocked him clean out.
Yeah.
So he got Magomed Ankalaev in that triangle with 1 second to go in the 3rd round after being dominated for 3 rounds.
That seems to be his new thing, right? He's on his back, he's just getting pummeled, and he's like, "Wait, I know how to do this."
By
and
Russians.
Puts it together. Yeah. That's also true.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
So that's the only loss on Ankalaev's record. Other than that, he's perfect. He's 13-1.
Yeah, and man, he's good.
Yeah, and Yeon's 15-5, 6-1, but they got the same reach, 75 inches. And I'm also a big fan of someone he's knocked out in Khalil Roundtree. When Khalil came back from Thailand and suddenly was a Thai boxer, teeping everybody, having his guard up proper old school in a Kumite style from Bloodsport. It was beautiful to watch. And then he got smashed by Cutelaba in 1 round. Everyone was like, if he just takes his time, picks him apart, there was no time. He doesn't leave you with time.
Yeah.
And it shows that from the opening of against Ankalaev, where they're announcing them when he runs into him. That's how aggressive this bastard is. as I've broken it down so many times, I want to get your your point on how you see this fight going. Do you see it going a first round flurry or a full 15-minute scuff?
It's so hard to tell because Ankalaev he doesn't get touched. He does a really good job of staying away, but he's also, he's kind of like he's a knockout artist. He's got a lot of power, and he's very creative in the way that he throws strikes. So I think it's one of those fights, kind of like if you're fighting Francis Ngannou. It's like if you can last maybe after the first round, you let him have his flurries. Maybe he's gonna tire out.
Yeah.
So just don't get clipped. And I think that's most likely the scenario that's going to happen is Ankalaev will probably survive the first round and then probably end up winning by decision. Just because I think he's so hard to actually get to.
Yeah.
But like you said, Cutelaba, I mean, he's a monster. He's scary. It's going to be tough to keep him away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of lean towards Ankalaev. He's a pretty big favorite. In our
I haven't seen the betting odds on that. Is he favorite?
Yeah, he's minus 330, so close to a 3-1 odds in his favor.
Okay. That's quite high, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, well, it's because the first fight. If you saw the first fight, right? Like he kind of pieced him up for a little bit.
For the first 20 seconds, he was
the first 20 seconds, and then the guy just decided to stop the fight for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean,
pretended he was a rope-a-dope.
Yeah, that was strange. So there's like some bad blood in this, which is going to be good, but like Cutelaba is going to be coming in, looking to knock him out quick.
Yeah, he's won a statement, right?
Yeah, I think
so. You know, he's having it. You never beat me.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of that attitude, isn't it? Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I favour towards Ankalaev just based on his distance control. He's just, and the fact that he landed 4 head kicks in that first fight.
Yeah.
When he was backing up, he was like, head kick again. Let's keep going. Yeah. You're not blocking him. So he just decided, all right, you're gonna be the guest pick today as well. We do the Florian kind of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Ricardo Lamas, not against Ryan Hall, which made me cry.
Bummer, man. I watched The Ultimate Fighter this year. I think I watched it, and it was the one that he was in. And he's such a good fighter, and I think obviously a lot of people don't like watching him fight because he just grapples the whole time. Yeah, exactly. But I love watching him fight, dude. He's so good. He's really that good. I actually think his striking's pretty good too. So I was excited for
his kicks. His taekwondo's incredible.
Yeah.
In fact, he's just not afraid, and because he wants to go to the ground, so take me down, go for it, whatever.
Exactly. He makes for a very interesting fight. So that's a bummer. I really want to see him fight, and he just never fights. Yeah.
Did he get injured? Is that the case? Do you know that? Or I'm assuming it wasn't COVID related because they weren't in the bubble yet. It was happened a few days ago. So Algeo, who I do not know, is coming in to replace.
Yeah. Because I was looking at him a little bit, and he lost his Dana White Contender Series fight. Lost the fight after that.
He was an old Ring of Combat fighter. That's all I know, and I don't watch the Ring of Combat.
So I think he kind of lucked into it. He must have just been on the sidelines waiting to go in.
Yeah.
So I don't really know much about him, but I would like to see Ryan Hall versus him.
Yeah, so that's why I hope Lamas wins. So then Lamas can carry on. If Lamas loses to this guy, then why is Ryan going to fight him? Ryan should be getting a top 10 person. Lamas isn't even ranked anymore. I know I don't really like rankings, but it still matters for matchmakers, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how, but
you get to a certain point where if you're in the top 15, you should probably not only be fighting the top 15, but you get some of the fringe guys as well. But it definitely matters. And then as soon as you get to like top 10, you're fighting killers at that point.
Was Hall's last fight BJ, where he got the Imanari roll into heel hook? Is that the last fight? That seems like years ago now.
That might have been 2 years ago, maybe 2018.
I want to put down on record, I think he is the most avoided fighter.
Yeah. 100%.
Nobody wants him, which is mad.
Those heel hooks are
just dead.
It's genius. It's so funny because it's coming, and then all of a sudden he just rolls into it and he just catches you, and then you're done in 10 seconds. It's the most impressive thing I think I've ever seen, to be honest.
I do feel like he's going to push his luck one day. Do you remember when Damian Maia first lost? He was 13-0, and he fought Nate Marquardt.
Oh no, you're taking it way back.
Yeah, and he went in first 10 seconds of the fight, stepped in, just started boxing. He was like, right, I'm going to try and get this to the ground. And Nate
Yep.
Marquardt just smacked him with one punch, knocked him out cold, and then looked at the floor, went to punch him again, and pulled his arm away halfway through. And that was the first loss of Maya's career. And I feel like that's going to happen to Hall. He's going to Imanari roll, miss it, and just get hit.
Yeah,
it
becomes like it's kind of like a little more modern. But when Ben Askren fought George Masvidal, he expected him to come in for the takedown. So when he came in with his head leaning down, he just got caught easily with that with the flying knee. So it's like if you're too predictable, you're gonna get it. It's coming. People will. More veteran fighters will see that.
I think that's it. I want to see him against a veteran fighter though. Ricardo Lamas, he's not a veteran fighter anymore, in my opinion. He's on his way out. So it's still a nice little knock though. Lamas versus Bill. Ricardo always brings it. Always remember against him versus Holloway, pointing to the ground and swinging last 10 seconds. That's Lamas to me. That's in a nutshell. Just he's on his way out. He's there for a reason. He's lost to Calvin Kattar, got knocked out.
Yep.
He beat Darren Elkins, but I feel like Darren Elkins doesn't try half the time. And any man with the damage tattooed on his chest in stitched letters,
yeah,
I'm fearful. The guy's not all there. And then he lost to Masad Bektic and got knocked out by Josh Emmett.
Ooh,
so he's had
Emmett.
He seems to knock everyone out though, so there's no shame in that, surely.
Yeah, that's
he's got everyone's gloves at home.
This is kind of like a waste of a fight, to be honest.
It feels like that, doesn't it? It feels like you could bump a prelim up.
Yes. But I mean, I would. It's just there's nothing that's really going to come of this fight. If either fighter wins, even in a big fashion, what's that going to do for them in the division? Maybe for the UFC debut for Algeo, that'd be nice for him to be keep a big statement. But
maybe he could get the win, the knock over Brian Hall next time. Maybe they'll do that. You want to stay here? You have to. If you win this fight, they probably got on contract. You have to fight Ryan Hall.
Yeah, so he'll just lose on purpose, so he doesn't have to do that.
Yeah, go back to Ring of Combat.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's to me, it's like kind of just like a waste of a fight. Just gonna fill time up here, but I'd probably go with Lamas as well. There's really no good reason to take Algeo at this point.
I haven't seen him fight. I can't back someone I've never seen. So.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, he's a veteran. He's at 38 years old, Lamas, so he's a veteran, but he's really not.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. He hasn't taken. Well, I guess he's been knocked out a couple of times, but that's why he's not ranked anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
You've got a fight now, which I'm not overly hyped on, but I feel like it could be a real banger. Now, this is the ladies.
Yep.
You've got Yeon Kim. No, I don't know how to say her name. And Alexa Grasso. I've seen Alexa a bunch of times. I only remember one fight from Kim. And that was her last fight against Kassem. Which was good. Good fight.
Knocked her out, right?
Punched to the body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she body shots. Brutal. Not beautiful. They weren't beautiful at all. They're horrid. They were cruel. Kassem didn't appreciate them. No. Round 2, that was, I think, I haven't got that noted in my notes. Written in my notes, but I've got punched to the body. I remember that. I think it was round 2. But yeah, and Alexa Grasso just lost to Carla Esparza by decision, as Carla's on a decision run right now. So
yeah, she is.
Again, no shame in that. I think she's on a 4-fight win streak, Carla, so she's in a good place.
I think she's getting the title shot soon, I believe.
Oh man, yeah, I think her last loss was Tatiana, and again, I don't think she's fought. She's just been injured all the time, and that girl scares me. She's like Yeon Cutelaba as a female.
Yeah, it's not a
built like a brick shit house, as it's saying. Broader than most men. She's ridiculous. She's huge, and she's a wrestler. So don't.
Yeah, that's a scary. You don't want to fight her.
No, the fact that Carla uses wrestling and couldn't wrestle her, it's.
Oh yeah, and she's
an
like
Olympian,
a toothpick.
Yeah,
she's tiny. I don't know how that works out, but she always everyone she always fights. I'm like, I don't know if she'll be able to take her down. She's too small. She always does it every time. She's feisty. She's good. So like you said, no shame in losing to her.
Unfortunately, I don't have much to go on this fight because I've only seen a few fights of Alexa that I can remember because
Yeah.
I don't want to be cruel or horrid and say they're unforgettable fighters, but they fly under my radar. The women that stand out to me are the ones that do something significant, and they haven't. I remember when she beat Karolina Kowalkiewicz, and I remember when she lost to Tatiana Suarez. That
Right.
everyone seems to be losing to her. That she's undefeated. So, other than that, I don't really know Kim and Alexa's at that. Plus, also the UFC has them both ranked at 14, which confused
Oh,
me.
really? That just happened with Rosenstrike and Derek Lewis. They're both ranked number 4
Right.
in
Okay.
heavyweight. So I don't know. I don't know why they do
Let
that.
them fight. In the
That's
yeah.
basically what it is, right? It's like if you want 4, if you want 5, fight for it.
Yeah. They haven't fought as well, have they? So that could be good.
Yeah. Oh, I want that fight to happen at some point. It's
I
got
want
to
to.
happen for the
I
fans.
still need to see Ngannou Lewis again. I want to see
Oh
that
God.
because the
Yeah.
first one made me cry.
People did not like the first fight.
No, just
But
Ngannou being passive. But yeah, out of interest on this, who have you got? I'm going to go with Alexa, just based on I've seen her more.
yeah, I looked into this one a little bit, but it's she's 3-2 in her last 5, which is okay, and then Grasso is only 2-3 in her last 5,
Which is worse.
which is worse. And then Kim has a 6-inch reach advantage, which is pretty
That's interesting.
significant. Yeah, and then she's also she's well versed in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. She's got, let's see, 3 submission wins on her record. So I don't think any of them were in the UFC, so they were kind of lesser competition. So
Yep.
that's something about that as well. But I don't know. Grasso, she's seems to be the more veteran fighter, fought the better competition, which I think is always huge.
Yeah.
So
Do you take other organization wins into account when you make your UFC picks, or not so much?
not so much, but that's mainly just because I don't know too much about those organizations. But I
Yeah.
usually, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I usually write them off as if they don't count, which is
Mm.
probably a mistake on my end.
Yeah. Maybe. I
You
just
know,
trying to
like it,
think of when Nathaniel Wood made his debut in the UFC. I'm
right?
a massive Nathaniel Wood fan. Obviously Londoner as well. So,
Yeah,
and he's our next proper, in my opinion, the next hope for a UFC title. So I don't think Leon or Darren are ever going to do it. So, nah, Darren's a bit overrated.
oh, really? I actually
He's
no. I
extremely skilled, but I just think the other boys are better.
I think when you look at the Whitaker fight, that was like a perfect example of that. Whitaker's just a better fighter, and
But that
he's
might be experience. It might be he needs to grow into the middleweight shape now. You
yeah,
know, he's young as well. He's only a year older or 2 years older than me. He's 27, 28. He's not old. So
yeah. He's so big. Like he's a great counter striker, like without a doubt. But if he was maybe a little more aggressive, I don't
yeah,
know.
that's the
It's
difference in it.
tough,
People say why throw a punch if he knows he's not going to hit it.
right?
He has to hit the perfect punch, but
Yeah,
everything revolves around old lefty with him,
exactly.
and that's the issue. He doesn't mix it up. There's no clinching. There's no ground game. There's no nothing. It's just I'm going to strike.
Right.
But he's not the same level as Israel, who can pull that off,
Oh,
or Anderson at the time, or whoever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But Leon
Adesanya,
actually, to be fair, Leon could do it for England.
I think he could, and he gets zero love from
I,
everyone. Like he's like the forgotten stepchild, you know. I feel
yeah.
bad for him.
I want to see him v Jorge.
Yep.
Get that 3-piece back. Yeah,
That's what the shirt says. It says 3-piece with the soda.
there you go. Get that back. He did it to Leon. He cut him open.
Yeah,
That
Leon
was
needs the
UFC Liverpool.
revenge.
That was Liverpool. So
Oh, was it?
yeah, that was
That was
Sweet
the Askren
Caroline.
fight, wasn't it? That was the
No,
Askren.
no, that was where he knocked out Darren.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
That must have been wild on his home turf.
mate. I saw that when I watched. I didn't see it at the show, obviously, but I saw it. I saw it at home, and we had I got loads of mates together, building it up. And I'm there going, "Oh, Darren's the next." You know, I'm building Darren up, and then he just gets. You know, the first 2 minutes he knocks Jorge down, and Jorge's smiling. I'm like, "Ain't good." I was like, "Ain't good." He's got a happy Jorge. Jorge's always been good. He's got, you know, a lot of it, like 5 or 6 of his losses are split decisions.
Yep. And that's what he said. He was like, as soon as I realized I was losing by decision, he was like, I'm just not going to leave it to the judge. I'm just going to start knocking everyone out. And that's,
you know, if you look at,
what you
it's the same thing as look at Bisping's record.
Yep.
more than half his losses are to people by decision.
Yeah.
90% of his losses are to people that did PEDs.
Yeah, sure.
Put them away. Tim Kennedy, Chael Sonnen, Rashad Evans didn't, but I thought he'd won that fight anyway. So it's a lot of those fights you could just scrub off, you know. It's Dennis Kane. All these people, you still beat him on steroids too. So.
True.
Yeah.
Good.
But so back to my point.
Yes.
Nathaniel Wood, when I watched his upcoming, so I go to Cage Warriors a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's Cage Warriors, he never sells out, but it's still roundhouse. You're at the O2 in London, so it's a massive arena still. And it's like the feeder league into the UFC. They get so much of our fighters. He was knocking out everyone and tapping out everyone. And then when he goes into the UFC, he fought Johnny Eduardo in his opening. Johnny Eduardo is just a simple striker. He's got Muay Thai tattooed on his stomach, and he's a brilliant, brilliant striker. Nothing more. He lit Nathaniel up for 2 rounds. Lit him up. But if you're, for some reason in that fight, Nathaniel is busted open. Johnny Eduardo shoots for a takedown. I have no idea why. Nathaniel dice chokes him. And he's like, thank you very much. One win. That's so after seeing Johnny Eduardo piece him up, and I know all Johnny Eduardo had to do was survive another 3 minutes just piecing him up, he would have won that fight. And Nathaniel's off to a loss. Instead, Nathaniel went 4 wins before he fought Dodson.
Right.
So he got that on him. But when I saw that, I was like, okay, Nathaniel, these old fights now, the previous Cage Warriors stuff, scrap them. Now this is your career. So to me, he's 4-1. That's his MMA career to me now.
Right.
So I am kind of, when I asked you, do you use them? I wouldn't use them a lot of the time.
Right. I think it's huge when you look at their pro record and then say they have 15 wins, 10 of them are by TKO. Well, if they're knocking everyone out in that lower level, but then they have like 2-3 decision wins in the UFC, that's just the level of competition going up.
Yep.
So don't expect that going into their next fight. Not that they're not capable of it. It's just you have to take that into consideration because the step up in competition is just so much greater in the UFC. So that's why with the 3 submissions that Kim has, not in the UFC, but I'm just not going to give her that advantage too much. I don't know. I'm probably going to lean with you with Grasso.
Yeah.
I have her by decision.
It's just because I've seen her more. That's my whole reason. It's nothing against Kim. I'm sure, next year when we've done these. Is she, Alexa's the favourite, is she?
Yep, she's like a 3-1 favorite.
Okay, so at least I'm good with the bookies.
Yeah, it's actually good that you don't look first because then you're kind of you're not having that.
I don't want to be swayed
on you. Yeah.
Yeah, I only see the betting odds when I make my bets.
Yep.
And then that's on English betting, obviously. And then when I see the fights live, it says it on their introduction. So that's the first I see of American because it's very hard to see American odds and understand them back in the UK because all the apps obviously are registered to a UK user, so it's all UK stuff. So it's a lot. It gets a bit complicated with my accumulators and whatnot. But all right, you can tell me how excited you are for this fight.
Yes. That
Jeff Neal fell out and made the fight better. I love Jeff Neal, but I love Robbie more. So, and I miss old Robbie.
Yeah, Jeff Neal is an absolute killer. Every time he fights, he's money. He's such a good fighter, very technical. So I think Neal. I think he would have been a bigger problem to Neal than I think Robbie would be at this point in Robbie's career.
I agree with you.
It's a tough fight. I love Neil Magny right now just because he's fought I think already twice in 2020 and he's
won them both.
He's looked so good.
Yeah.
I think he's a really good fighter who can keep his distance very well. But he's someone who's going to win rounds and what I think he'll ultimately win by decision just because he's very good at keeping away if he needs to. But even when he wants to get close, he still has a dangerous clinch game as well. So I just like the way that he fights. And I think for someone like Robbie, who's probably going to be going for the knockout, it's just one of those fights where it's kind of like Ankalaev and Cutelaba. It's like, can he break in? Yeah. Is he going to be able to do it? And then based on just what I've seen from Robbie in his past few fights, like his fight against Colby, I mean, he got destroyed by Colby.
Yeah.
That was tough to watch.
Upsetting.
Not that
Colby's on another level.
Yeah, not that Neil's on that level, but I think that Neil being the more active fighter, I think that certainly helps as well. So I have him winning by decision, but I'm
That's a
very
good
excited
shout.
to see Robbie come in because he just throws bombs, and his fight against Ben Askren was controversial, but he was looking really good in that fight too.
He looked
So maybe
incredible
he does
shape,
have.
didn't he? His body
Yeah,
looked insane.
he
Just,
did. Oh my
yeah.
God, he lifted him up and just dropped him right on his
Oh,
head. Like
yeah.
he looked great in that. So maybe he does have something left in the tank.
My
We'll see.
opinion finally got changed with that fight.
Yeah.
I like Ben Askren when he talks. I don't like Ben Askren when he fights. Nobody likes Ben Askren when he fights.
Yeah, he just lays on top of you.
He's so
he just
rubbish.
wrestles and-
He
Yeah,
just pants.
he can't strike. I mean, when he fought Damian Maia,
Oh,
he did okay.
that was embarrassing. That was
Yeah,
embarrassing.
it's sloppy. It's just not.
Two jiu-jitsu or two groundwork, two mat fighters fighting over the fists. It just upset me. I was like, go to the ground. Because then you see, okay, he can take you down and Damien just sweeps you and taps you. Fine. That's how it works.
So
Jiu-jitsu beats wrestling. We've established that. Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. But yeah, Robbie, poor Robbie.
Yeah, well, the reason I'd say that is his arm went down. It just flopped down for a second, and I'm like, okay, he went out for a second. With that. But I do think he went out for a second, but before her pulled him off, he did wake up again.
Like instantly. Like he was like up in like a millisecond, and I was like,
so it is like, but he lost. So he's got to get over it, and he did very quickly. But I agree with you everything you said about Neil Magny. The fact that he's fought twice, I think that's what's going to do it. He's been in there twice this year. Robbie hasn't. The last time he did it, he lost to Colby. I don't know where he's been since then. He's just got older. His body's deteriorated.
Right. Yeah.
He's also got a crazy 6-inch disadvantage in reach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's ever had that disadvantage in reach against anybody. Mate, I don't know what Nick Diaz's was back in the day when he got knocked out by Nick, but I don't think it's 6 inches more. I don't think he has an 80-inch
Probably
reach.
Not. Yeah.
Robbie's got the same reach as I do, 74-inch. So that just Neil's arms are massive, and he's 6'3", so the clinch ain't going to be his thing. But his pace he keeps on you as well over 3 rounds. What he did to Rocco Mine, Rocco had him in the first round, and I was like, shit, Rocco looks incredible. Mm-hmm. Rocco gassed out. Neil takes over. The volume in that third round, I'm so shocked he couldn't put him away, which makes me think he can't put Robbie away, as you say, and thinks decision. I think he can piece him up, maintain the distance, maintain the damage. It's that simple, isn't it? It's jiu-jitsu talk. They teach you that white belt. Control the distance, you control the damage. Leg kicks, calf kicks, everyone's doing it. Neil's starting doing it now as well. I think he's going to wipe Robbie's leg out. Lead leg out, stop that power shot, move around. I think you're right. I think it's going to be a decision, Magny. I think that's smart money. Not to say Robbie can't smash him, because he can, man. Nothing I want more right now is to Robbie to become ruthless and do his old thing and
I know.
Be the old Robbie Lawler. Be the one that fought Condit, that fought Hendricks, that fought McDonald. That Robbie.
Oh, they just posted on Instagram. I think it was the UFC probably was promoting it, but it was like, the top 5 or 6 moments from Robbie's career.
Yeah.
And he was such a savage back in the day, man. When he didn't get tired. He just came in swinging, and he didn't stop until he went down. I'm
assuming it had the McDonald fight was on there then. With
that was the last one on there. It was like, pick your favorite one, and I was like, it's that one. It's definitely that one.
I remember the Condit fight. When the bell goes in the end of the fifth, they both put their arms on the cage and stand next to each other, exhausted. Because I'm a massive Condit fan.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no! When he lost, crying into my arms. He never made it to the full unified title, just the interim. But
this is like the people love Robbie Lawler. Like he is one of like the biggest fan favorites. So everyone's going to be rooting for him, and I probably might even just put a little bit of money on him just because seeing him win would be awesome. And he's actually pretty big underdog in this fight.
I was about to ask that. So what's the odds on that?
He's about he is a 2-1 underdog.
Okay.
So Magny's minus 240. So bet 240 to win 100. It's a lot to bet on Magny, who has looked very good, but it's still like in MMA, like anyone can go down at any point. We've seen that happen.
Yeah.
So why not Robbie?
Why not Robbie? Exactly. He's ranked 13 as well, which is surprising because he's 3 losses since he beat Cowboy.
Yeah.
Before that, obviously, he lost his belt.
I think that's right.
1-4. 1-4 in his last 5. He lost to Colby, to Askren, to RDA.
Yeah.
Then he lost the title fight to Woodley.
Did he not beat Cerrone after that?
He won. He beat Cerrone. Then he lost. The one before that was the title shot.
That's it. Yeah. So hard to remember.
He's on the downslide. But I mean, all those names that we mentioned.
Colby's no shame, man. Oh, I had Colby 2-2 in Usman fight into that last round. I had it dead even. So I've never seen anyone push Usman that far.
I love that fight. I
wanted him to win so bad. I don't know what it's like for an American.
Colby?
Yeah.
Oh no.
So bad. So bad.
Oh,
I hate Usman. Usman is the most boring, dull, like horrible.
Oh, he's a master at his craft.
Oh yeah. Not slating that. It's respect for him, but he should. Oh mate, I can't watch someone toast on.
People don't like Colby because of his antics, which I actually think his antics are awesome.
I love him. Well, that's what I was going to say. As someone that lives in America.
Yeah.
How bad do people hate Colby? Because he's slating your own country and like bigging up Trump, and obviously it's a controversial subject in politics.
Yeah. No, even though he's like a big Trump supporter, which is probably a 50-50 split to begin with anyways, but people don't like him. Colby's the most, in my opinion, from what I've seen on social media, he's the most hated fighter.
Really? More than Leon Edwards? He gets some hate now.
Yeah, he gets the hate. Maybe I think he just gets forgotten about.
Yeah.
Maybe not the hate, just like people just forget about. Yeah, exactly. But he'll get his. I believe that.
Maybe.
I
doubt it. But so we both got Neil on the pick'em. I think that's Neil by decision. Lovely. I'm definitely putting money on decision for that. I think that's where the betting favourite comes in. If you put in a bet on someone that is a favourite, you have to write the method. If you want to win decent money anyway. I'm not really up to decent money. I just want to make sure I leave with more than I came.
Exactly.
That's my rule. Have fun.
And I think actually I would be interested to see what the Magny by decision payout is.
Yeah.
Because I bet it is probably pretty close to like an even money situation.
That'd be worth it to me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense in a 3-round fight, for sure.
Yeah, that 3 rounds will go quick, but I guarantee 3-round fight. He knows about Magny. I think Robbie's going to come with a vicious, and it's last second, really, isn't it? He hasn't. Was it 2 weeks' notice? Jeff got pulled out 2 weeks ago. Was it a bit longer? Something like that.
It was right around that, but it was pretty short notice. So that could be a huge factor too. Has he been training this whole time?
Can he go 15 with the cardio king?
I know, that's the other side of it. Yeah, he's fine. He's good to go. You know that for sure. So Robbie's going to come in probably first round just swinging, just hoping he hits. And then if he doesn't, then he loses, and that's fine because he's, what does he have really left anyway?
For sure. Right. Big boys.
Yep.
We got the big boys. I got my question. I'm obviously repping. You're repping Jorge. I'm repping Full Reptile. This is Dan Hardy and Owen Oxley's and Ollie Richardson's clothing brand in the UK. So I had Owen on my podcast a couple of days ago, who's the creative director of the company. So Dan Hardy does all his breakdowns, obviously, Full Reptile YouTube channel and stuff. And I got onto their YouTube channel with my question.
I saw that. I saw you post that.
Oh, of course. Big Dan Hardy fanboy. So,
okay.
Yeah, and a Carlos Condit fan. So you know how much I hurt. That was a lose-lose. But I asked, is it too quick for Anthony Smith to come back after having the piss bitch slapped out of him by Glover Teixera? He got mutilated in that fight. He lost teeth.
He did.
Granted, I got told they weren't his teeth, they're fake teeth. But still, he got the teeth punched out of his face.
I think in
over 5 rounds.
Yeah, I know. And Glover, he's on a tear. All credit to him. Like, he's killing it right now. So I don't know what happened to Anthony Smith, that he just didn't look the same. He had like that weird like break-in into his house. He fought someone. I think like mentally, I don't think he was there.
Mm.
So I think
was that close to the fight? Was that just before the fight?
I'm pretty sure it was. If I remember correctly, it was right around the time of that fight. And so maybe that was just like a one-time. Who knows what happened? Because I think the fight before that, he submitted Ozdemir. Or was it Gustafsson? He submitted
He subbed Gustafsson, yeah.
Yep. So he looked really good in that.
Yeah.
I think given the opponent with the up-and-comer who's very dangerous, that I think is not a good really matchup for Anthony Smith at this present moment. So
yeah.
To answer your question, yeah, I think maybe it's a little bit too soon just given who the opponent is.
Yeah. I mean, I said last year to my buddy, and I've got a bet on paper, I said Rakic will be champion at light heavyweight one day.
Oh, yeah?
After what he did to Jimmy Manuwa. Again, another Englishman. Jimmy Manuwa, we rate real high over. His kickboxing is elite. He got offered the UFC, turned it down, so I'm not ready for the UFC. I want to come back when I'm ready. Came back, started starching everyone until he fought Gustafsson. Gustafsson beat him. Then he went and trained with Gustafsson over in Sweden. And that's where he's based. And obviously he's now retired. Based off of being kicked in the fucking head.
Yeah. That makes sense.
By Rakic, which was scary when I watched him just smack his head back, and that was it. It was game over. Rakic is so young. He's just lost to Ozdemir, which I had him winning that fight. Split decision.
Yep.
I think a lot of people did. And he also beat Devin Clark. Everyone seems to be beating Devin Clark, though. So, as harsh as that sounds, but Devin's just... I don't know. I don't know. Devin Clark did beat Manafeld. So, okay. I can give him that one.
Oh, that's a pretty big win.
That's a pretty... Yeah, he gassed him out, then he beat him over... Beat the second and third round.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So I think Aleksandar's... He's shown on all the breakdown videos. I don't have to obviously do my own, but he's got a bit bigger reach, 78 to 76. I don't think that's going to play any factor. Anthony, since he's come up to light heavyweight, he's 4-2. One of those losses is to Glover. One of them is to Jon Jones. So, and he could have won the belt in that Jon Jones fight if he just said, "Hey, I can't see from that illegal knee." He could have walked away with a belt. But you'd never get any fans that way.
Oh no.
No, I do see Anthony Smith. If he's in the right mindset, as you say, he's so dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
He's so unorthodox, so scrappy. He doesn't look like a good fighter almost. The bad tattoos all over his body, just looks like a thug, but he's so well spoken, he's so articulate.
Yeah.
He's so intelligent, but he just doesn't it looks so deceiving with Anthony Smith. He could be such a good analyst and commentator as well, and I think he does analyst stuff for ESPN.
He does, yeah.
He's so good at it. But Rakic is hungry now. He's just coming off the first loss of his UFC career against a fight. He definitely thinks he won that fight, I'm sure. Ozdemir knows he got lucky because he was surprised when his hand was raised. He was like, "Oh,
great.
Okay,
I'll take it.
Fantastic." So I think Rakic is coming for his head now. He wants a name. He's been given a name of Anthony Smith, who is a better name, in my opinion, than Ozdemir at the moment, considering he beat Ozdemir. He's fought for the title more recently. He's finishing people as well. And he beat Gustafsson. That is a massive name to have. And I think that is the height that Smith is going to get to. The best name on his resume forever is going to be Gustafsson for me. And I think Rakic is going to jump to that 5th spot. And I don't think he's going to knock him out. I think this is the first time we're going to see Rakic go 5 rounds. And I cannot see Smith subbing him. He almost has the strength of like a Derek Lewis. If someone grabs his back, Rakic seems to just be able to stand up and just get off, shrug off, and nothing more. Like he definitely trains the mat, but you never see it, and it's that kind of scary aspect of the Chuck Liddell thing. He never worries about the takedown. He doesn't need to. He knows he's got it in the bag. So Anthony Smith on the ground is no joke. We've all seen that. That's his path to victory for me. Play it out over the 3 rounds, 4 rounds, get him into the championship. He's done that now. He knows he can go that. And hope Rakic doesn't have it in his tank. Hope he's worn out. Drag him to deep waters. Get him into the rear naked kind of scenario. He got Ozdemir in, and he got. Did he get Gustafsson in a rear naked choke? Yeah, he did. He got Gustafsson in a rear naked choke.
Yes.
So that's my opinion. I think Rakic is not going to knock him out. I think he's too clever for that. I think Smith's going to play the long game. I think he's going to stay away from the power. Just try and what's the way I'm looking for to say it? I'll think of it in a minute.
It's gone from my head. Just kind of damage mitigation. Just take as little damage as you can, get into that third round. Then the fight begins almost.
Yeah.
Almost sacrifice the first two. Take the third, fourth, and fifth. That's the way I see Smith going. But I don't know how you see it. That's it from a Rakic perspective. Of I want Rakic to win, and I like his fighting style more than I like Smith's. Even though I like Smith a lot, I just see Smith after the last fight. I can't see him getting up anymore, if that makes sense.
I know. After the last fight, you think very lowly of Anthony Smith, and I think so. The odds makers, I think, were thinking the same thing, because this one's interesting. So Rakic is a 3-1 favorite.
Wow,
which is big.
That surprises me.
That's huge.
Yeah.
For just, I don't know. It's all because this is one of those veteran up and comers. Is the up and comer ready? He meets the veteran. We kind of find out where he stands. Because if Rakic wins this, I mean, you're looking. He's probably a top 5 guy.
Yeah. He's in one shot away from one fight away from a title shot. Yeah.
Right. So, and he's scary. He throws with like purpose. Like when he throws, he's looking to take you out. Because I was watching the fight with Ozdemir today. And in the first round, man, he just comes out and he throws these like crazy like uppercuts, but his kicks are very good. So he's very well-rounded as a striker. And I think what's interesting when you look at Anthony Smith's record, he's been knocked out 9 times. He has a ton of wins. He's got like 30 or so wins, but he also has like 15 losses or something around that.
More losses than Rakic has fights.
Right. So but that's another like positive is because he's so experienced. He's seen everything, so he's going to know how to fight. Yeah, which is insane. So, kind of works both ways where he's going to have the experience advantage, especially in a 5-round fight. And his submission game, like you said, is probably one of the best, if not the best, in the division.
It's overlooked, isn't it?
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a jiu-jitsu practitioner. Right. He's been a black belt for a decade, and it shows. Yeah.
When you watch the Gustafsson fight, I mean, he's as soon as he gets into that position to take him down, he does it. He takes the back within like 5 seconds. He knows exactly what he's doing. So it's going to be kind of up to Rakic to make sure that he stays in a non-dangerous position. He's really got to bring that part of the game because that's going to be, like you said, that's going to be the way that I think Anthony Smith wins is on the ground.
Yeah.
If he stands and strikes with them, he's going to get toasted 100%. And he's not the fastest guy in the world. He's pretty slow moving, and he likes to kind of get in your face a little bit. So if he gets a little bit too close, I don't think he's going to be able to get out of the way. Yeah. So Rakic could certainly catch him. But in my experience, I tend to side with the veteran, especially if I still think that they still have it. And I don't think we're ready to write off Anthony Smith. I don't think, I don't think we can go off of what that loss was. I really don't think he was there mentally. So I think he's going to bounce back. I'm going to take Anthony Smith, and I think he will get it done by submission.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That'll be big odds.
I know. I gotta look into that. I'm going to check that out.
That is awesome. One more thing before we go then.
Yeah.
Who does Jon Jones fight at heavyweight first?
So I was under the impression they would ease him into it. Maybe just toss him like a Volkov. Maybe he could just take out Volkov pretty easily.
Okay, so someone that's not even in the top 5.
Yeah, I was thinking they'd toss him just like kind of an easy fight, just to be like, okay, you got to figure out what you are at heavyweight.
Yeah.
But it sounds like he's gonna have a pretty clear path to the top. So, man, they're all killers. Those top 5, like Curtis Blades. That's a dangerous fight.
Was it Stipe, Francis, Curtis Blades, Derek, and
Rosenstrike? So I don't wish I wouldn't want to really pick between any of them. If I had to pick, I'd probably go Derek Lewis. I think he would be the easiest
blueprint, right?
Yeah. Daniel Cormier did it perfectly. You use your ground game, he's hopeless. And I don't know, Rosenstrike seems to be a little bit more athletic. I wouldn't want to fight Curtis Blades because his ground game is just dead. His wrestling, and he's just going to be a big guy. That's going to be a tough one to stop.
Yeah.
So I'll give him Derek Lewis.
Give him Derek Lewis.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I thought if he wants the title fight, he's got it.
Yeah.
He's earned that. That argument in GOAT status will get you that title shot straight away.
Yeah, it's true.
I like Volkov. I like matching him with a couple people first, but he's just not going to do that. I think. What is it? He probably walks around about 230, 235.
Yeah, he's big. He's 6'4", right?
So if he starts, he's a big boy, but he's also got the longest reaches. Other than Stefan Struve.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, the reach. So out of all the heavyweights, he's got a bigger reach than them all, even Volkov. So that just puts it into perspective how big his reach is. If he puts some meat on those legs, I can see him quite easily dispatching Derek Lewis, even Rosenstruik to a point. I think Rosenstruik has knockout power, but there's like his knockout power is like here with Derek Lewis, and then there's Ngannou knockout power. Yeah, which is
out of this world.
It is. It's just. I don't know if you watch. It's soccer to you, isn't it? But you've got like a normal footballer and then Lionel Messi, and Ronaldo. Yeah. It's that kind of caliber. It's ridiculous. So I think he would beat Stipe quite easily, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really do. I think DC could beat Stipe. If you fought him 10 times, Stipe wins 6, 7 of them. 6 maybe to me.
Yeah.
I think John never loses to DC. Ever. I think if they fought 10 times, DC wouldn't win one. I really don't. I'm not a DC hater, but I just think John is. He's not there. He's not enthused by the light heavyweights. He's not. He's like, I've been beating you all for so long, and it started with the Thiago Santos fight. He wanted to make a statement against Gustafsson, did it? Took him down, beat the shit out of him. Gustafsson did nothing. He then got bored, in my opinion, and he's just Thiago Santos fight. I don't know who scored that for Santos winning. Idiot. It was clearly John's win, but he's still got a fight out of Santos, and that was with no knees. He lost both. All the cartilage in his legs just went.
The ACLs, yeah.
Was it the ACL went as well?
I think
he shouldn't be able to walk.
Right, and he's fought. That was early in the fight that he's
kicking on
that. Yeah.
So, I would like to see some rematches personally, like the Dominic Reyes fight. I'm one of the few that scored it for Jones. Now that is seriously controversial because Twitter MMA, you know how violent that is, will scream at you if you say that. There's a lot of Jon Jones fans on it, but there's more Dominic Reyes on that fight. I scored the 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round for Jones. So I don't think he's running from that or anything like that. He's already beaten him. Why does he want to go back? He doesn't have to. So I'm with you. I think Lewis makes good sense. Derek's a good fight. There's a blueprint. It's same like Johnson and the Rumble Johnson sort of style fight, isn't it? Get him to the ground when they could choke. DC done it to both of them.
Exactly. That's exactly how I would see it going. But like then you add in the power aspect that you don't really see at light heavyweight, and it's just like, what if Jones gets caught with like one big hit from Lewis? He'll go down.
He does get hit as well. He does get hit. So
it'd be interesting, man. I don't know. I can't wait to see it. I think the Stipe fight would be a very good fight because they're both so well-rounded, but it's just that Jones is just better in every
and he's motivated.
Yeah, and he'll be motivated. Yeah, that like you said. So when he fought Reyes and Santos, he wasn't motivated. He needs something to get him going again. And Reyes, I think, is trying to get it out of him down in light heavyweight, but he wasn't biting on that. And everyone's saying he's running.
I don't want to see that fight again either. I'd rather see Reyes Yeon, personally. I like Yeon Blachowicz.
I like Reyes. I want to see Reyes, take the belt and just hold on for a little bit.
This is where Yeon beats him.
I know. Seriously.
He knows it's going to happen, isn't it? It's MMA math.
Yeah, MMA math. I've quickly learned that is
doesn't work, does it?
Doesn't really work so well.
No, 1 + 1 = 3 with MMA math.
Yeah, it's awful. Don't use it for betting.
No, but that's it for this card. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it, man. I appreciate you coming on. That is awesome.
Absolutely. If anytime you need a guest, let me know. I do Fridays on my other show, but whenever you need a guy, just let me know and I can probably pop in.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it.